Hey everyone, it is Elaine Lou Curtis. I'm your business and career coach for women of all colors, and doors are open for my Aligned Action Mastermind, which is that blue sign. But you might want to check out my stuffed animals because they're cute. We celebrate all diversity for stuffed animals, except bad on them because they're not practicing social distancing. But that's not why we're here. We're here because Jasmine's here. Jasmine, where did you fly into, by the way?
Yes, I'm here in Denver, Colorado.
And tell us what you do.
I own a business called Olivia Rose, where I design and sell planners that are specifically marketed towards corporate working women. And I'm working to build a community for corporate working women. So everything, inspiration, advice, tips, all that good stuff.
And also, actually, we'll talk about the legacy part later, because I know there's more even depth of what you want to do in your business. But so, Jasmine, we've known each other for 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
So Jasmine and I had a little breakup. So she was in the mastermind, the Aligned Action Mastermind, for 6 months when I first launched it 2 years ago. She took a break, but whatever. She came back to me because, how can you not? But why don't you let people know, like, why did you come to the mastermind? And as incredible new energy, new women are coming, like, what have you loved about the change in the mastermind you've seen?
Yeah, I think really a big thing about the mastermind that I get a ton of support in is just community, right? Because building your own business can be definitely a little bit lonely. And so it's really awesome to have a group of aligned action sisters all working towards common goals of building their business and supporting their lives and spending time with family and all of that good stuff. And in the break that we had where we weren't together, I definitely noticed, one of my favorite things about you is you're just always learning, and you're always, enrolling in programs of your own and engaging in all kinds of different resources. And you can really tell that like those things are also brought to the group. So I knew that when I rejoined, it wasn't going to be the same group. And I think that constant evolution is something that keeps me really tuned in.
And that's another question. What have you enjoyed about having me as a coach, and what should other people expect from me?
Definitely that continued education piece is huge. Any sort of current events that are going on, we're having education on that, and you're bringing in proper speakers to be able to talk to us, like when your therapist came to talk to us with everything that's going on. I think that was super helpful. And then, the other thing about working with you is you just attract the kind of people that I want to surround myself with. So everyone in the group is so awesome, working on their goals and supporting everyone else. And I think that's just something that you need in these kinds of groups, is that continued support. So that's been really awesome.
Yeah, this is not your mean girls type of group. Like, this
Definitely
is
not.
a true sisterhood. And even lately with everything, 2020 is a crazy year, as all of you know.
Yeah.
Astronauts that are in space are very lucky to leave this planet. And I was telling Jasmine, I'm attracting everyone except an astronaut, so I need to get that. But anyways, with these crazy times, how has being part of the mastermind and having me as your coach been helpful for you? Can you go more in depth about that? Because our calls lately, actually, yes, I teach strategy, but we've been talking about real stuff where we're even crying, except Jasmine and Monica, because they don't cry, but it's been getting more real. Yeah. So how have I been helpful, and the mastermind's been helpful to you during these crazy times?
Yeah, it's been more important now than ever for me to be in this group. With my planners, I've had 5 sold out launches, and they're all built around in-person connection. So it's connecting with people face to face, doing different kinds of networking, spreading the word and all that good stuff. Obviously, with current times, we're all at home and not spending time together in the office. And so I had to make a big shift in my business of how I was going to communicate and market and get the word out there about what I'm doing. So Elaine has been insanely helpful, and everyone in the group, to kind of figure out what's my positioning online and how am I building that community, which has kind of evolved my business to that piece where I know that I want it to be something more than planners. I want it to be the community. And we talk about the legacy piece. I think talking about self-care and mental health is something that doesn't really get talked about a ton in the corporate space. And so I want to be someone that can bring that up and help everybody with that in any way that I can. Getting people proper resources, talking about different ways that we can exercise self-care so that we're still showing up how we need to for our jobs and for our families and all of that good stuff. I mean, everybody in the group has been instrumental in helping me figure that out for my business.
I know this was going to be my last question, but you're talking about it. I love being in flow,
Yeah.
as you know, but why
Yeah.
don't you share with everyone what is the legacy you want to create with your Olivia Rose company and your planners?
Yeah, I think really the main message is just that you're more than your job. So I know in the corporate space, it can be so easy to be consumed, and your job is what you do, and it's who you are, and it's who you hang out with, and it's all of that. And then yourself, as an individual, kind of takes a back burner. So I think that's really the message that I want to convey is you're more than your job, and your job can be a piece of you, but it's not all of you. So that's a lot of self-care practices, work-life balance, paying attention to mental health. All of those things are so important because we really just have to take care of ourselves. So that's something that I aim to do with Olivia Rose beyond just planners, is bringing in that self-care awareness and strategy piece for everyone in the corporate world.
Yeah, I mean, and talk about that more, because I know everyone is seeing these interviews, everyone's like, I want to work with you because of your client results, but I just want to know there's more depth to it rather than just making the money. It's the legacy piece. It's like, what are you doing for your loved ones? Even this past weekend, I was like, what? These are your self-care goals that you guys told me. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, I think you definitely push us to be tuning into ourselves and how we're feeling, how we're doing, because all of that really does impact your business. And through that, that's kind of how I discovered this legacy piece. I really didn't know that this was something that I wanted to bring into it. And you were able to kind of pull that out of me because I was talking about how I want to be more than just what I do. And there's been times in the past where I've gotten so wrapped up in that I kind of lose my sense of self and my importance of self-care and all of that. I think it's that personal discovery that then leads to, okay, I want to help somebody else do this too because it's so important. So yeah, I mean, we're checking in self-care and doing all that stuff on the calls too. It's not just business strategy.
So I know this is an interview about the mastermind, but I'm going to coach you a little because this idea just came to mind, and you can watch the replay,
Okay.
Jasmine. But you should do and this is how I work. So you guys are kind of seeing my brain live right now.
A live demonstration.
A live demonstration of my Elaine nuggets. But you should do a campaign where it's like hashtag I am more than my job.
Yeah, I love that. That's exactly it, right? It's all of us as people, not what we do for a living. So I really like that.
Like women tend to just match up to their job, and that's their self-worth, getting paid that amount, but you're more than a job. Anyways, watch the replay, Jasmine, to take notes because I know we're doing an interview.
Perfect.
But can you actually describe that too? Like what happens so we have hot seats, like just so you know what the format is the second and fourth Thursday of every month. We have coaching calls. I teach, and there's hot seats where each person gets to speak. Every Wednesday, there's office hours from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific, where we just co-work together. And then there's also 6 30-minute one-to-ones you get to schedule on your own with just me. Yeah, can you describe how it is when you're doing hot seats with me and learning from other girls when they're in the hot seat as well?
Yeah, I think the fun thing about the calls is you always take away something from it that maybe you weren't even anticipating taking away. So I'll go into calls in this hot seat section and have, this is something that I want to talk about. But as we go through, Elaine just demonstrated, things just come up and she talks through them and kind of points out things that maybe you weren't even thinking about. So it's really on the go, and it's when we're just in flow on the calls. And then, like you were saying, everyone else goes through and does hot seats. And so you can take something from that. And, maybe it's not an issue you're currently experiencing in your business, but it could be something that you could apply later. So I think that's really awesome. And then, the other thing to note on that too is you're not pushy and demanding that we do these things. I have this idea and you must do it, where, it's an open conversation, and then you just take away from it what applies to your business, and you apply what makes sense. And it's different for every person. So even the same lesson doesn't have the same takeaway for every individual in the group.
Yeah. And thank you so much for mentioning that, because I will provide a suggestion like, Jasmine, what are your thoughts on this? And then Jasmine, and I welcome my clients to say, no, it doesn't feel aligned to me. My clients like, okay, hence aligned action. Because if you're not in
Yeah.
alignment to whether it's the action you're going to take, the plan, the price points, the services, whatever it is, people could feel that energy.
Yeah,
And so it's not going to work for you.
definitely. And you're really in tune to that too. So even if we don't outright say, I don't like that, we're kind of talking through it and you're like, I don't think this fits with what you're doing. Let's figure something else out.
And these are crazy times to spend money. For you, what suggestions would you have to anyone that might be on the fence?
Yeah, it's definitely an investment. And that was something that I thought about, both times that I joined the mastermind. There's no doubt about that. And I think the real factor to that is if you're willing to put in the work, you'll get the results. I mean, you see all of the amazing client results that Elaine's posting. And before I joined the second time, I was like, oh man, I want to get results like that. And I know that I have to put in the work and that's how it will happen. So if you're willing to put in the work, you're definitely going to get the results. And, it's not just access to Elaine that you're paying for when you join the mastermind. It's access to everyone in the group and the amazing resources and people that Elaine has in her community outside of the group. It's an endless amount of people that we're being connected to in all kinds of different professions and specialties and ways that they can help. So it's really a broad investment into everything for you, personal and business. It's not all business either.
Yeah. And, here's a concern that, some people say, it's like, well, there's all these women. Am I going to have enough time? I'm like, yes, you will, because we are connecting
Definitely.
twice a week. There's a Facebook group. So and what's interesting, Jasmine kind of like alluded to that. People come into the mastermind because they love me, but they end up loving the girls in the group even more than me, which is
Yeah.
completely fine. But can you share, do you feel like you have enough one-to-one time, and why is that?
Yeah, there's absolutely enough one-on-one time. I mean, we have 2 different group sessions, so the group can split up, so it's not always every one-on-one call, so you've got time for your hot seats. We do one-on-one coaching sessions, so you can get one-on-one access with Elaine. Even when we do our implementation sessions on Wednesdays and we're just kind of co-working together, there's some hot seats that are going on in there too, because you can kind of just bring up any concerns you have. And then we've got access to the private Facebook group. I'll, Voxer message Elaine when I just need some help and it's kind of off the cuff, but there's all kinds of different ways to get in touch with Elaine. And that one-on-one support comes from the other girls in the group too, because they might be maybe more knowledgeable in a certain area than Elaine is, so they can step in and give you that advice as well.
Yay. Well, thank you so much, Jasmine,
Course.
for being in the mastermind twice, even though you took a break from me, but you can't.
You have to miss something to know what you need in your life. So I just needed a break.
And just in case, if I have any corporate women out there, how can they find you? How can they buy a planner?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at XO_Olivia Rose and then online at XOOliviaRosePlanners.com.
Yay, thank you so much, Jasmine. And if you're interested in the mastermind, we are going to sell out. I already just told Jasmine because I was like, I'm changing. And that's another thing. I was like, I need to change things in the mastermind, which I know my clients appreciate whenever I ask for feedback. But we're going to sell out. So if you're interested, I'm only at 17 people. Message me.
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
You. Bye.
Bye.